Hello everyone. Today we're talking about pot roast and flood insurance. How in the world do these two things come together? What's this idiot probably talking about now? Well, today we're talking a little bit about being prepared. You see, I had this killer recipe prepared for tonight for pot roast. Potatoes, the vegetables. I was going to throw it in the crock pot for about 6 hours. Just perfect. Only problem is I recently broke my crock pot and threw it away. So I went to cook it and it wasn't there. This is something that we have all the time with people after they flood. Is they go to file a flood claim, guess what? The flood insurance isn't there because it wasn't required by the mortgage company, so they decided not to continue it since it wasn't required. They didn't think they'd ever need it. The problem is now that they didn't have it, it can be really difficult to get it. Now, you can still get it through the National Flood Insurance Program if you've had probably just one claim and still fall under that standard rating. The rates are going to be a little higher, of course, because of a claim, but many options in the private market aren't even going to be available if you've had a claim within 5 years. So this is really important to understand that you don't make the same mistake on your flood insurance that I made on pot roast. So that's what we want to talk about today is, making sure you're prepared is when it comes to non-preferred flood zones. We talked to a lady today, says, hey, I'm in a flood zone X, which means my house won't flood, which that's not correct. It just means that FEMA is using these maps from a regulatory standpoint to say you're at lower risk of flooding, but it doesn't mean you won't flood. Ask Houston residents, where 80% of them didn't have flood insurance because they weren't in a required flood zone. Ask the victims in Oklahoma and Nebraska from 2019, or even East Alabama. Wise Lake, you even had areas of Gadsden, Alabama, Center, Alabama, where a lot of these people didn't have flood insurance because it wasn't required. Can you imagine driving around with a brand new vehicle, not having auto insurance simply because it's not required? No, you want to protect your investment. And that's exactly what flood insurance does. So you want to avoid this mistake. So remember, if you've got questions, thanks for tuning in, Christy, about flood insurance, make sure to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. We don't want you to have one of these really bad experiences that we talk to people about every day because they just were not aware that either they needed it or that they could get it. So make sure to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. You can also stay tuned here for some of these videos, our cooking videos, throughout the rest of the year and next year as we continue our 1,000 flood education videos in 1,000 days. Thank you.